Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Fire is never a gentle master. Today, Just Minding My Business Media LLC is pleased to introduce the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Many times in life, in ways that are far from our comprehension, God employs trials to purify our hearts and refine our minds. Forged by Fire, Built God Tough is an all-female testament that illuminates the refining process. These 21 courageous women have been tried and tested through virtually unconquerable circumstances, but have emerged powerful, unrelenting, refined, and are sharing their stories as testimonies to God's miraculous power. So first up, we have Yinka Kilani, who is an author, speaker, intercessor, and geospatial specialist with a sincere gift for initiating and maintaining success amongst compassionate trailblazers looking to change their world for the better. Yinka Kalani's mantra is clear. He is inspired by female leaders making giant strides in their chosen fields. Yinka Kilani, trailblazer, intercessor, and philanthropist. Welcome, Yinka.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
And we just found out that she's all the way from England. So we are definitely happy to have you in the States.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Absolutely. So tell us, Yinka, how did you get started with what you're doing now?
Well, I think I was just looking through Instagram and I saw the post from Catrice calling for authors, and I just thought to myself, when I saw that Forged by Fire, that really caught my attention. I thought to myself, wow, I have been forged by fire. Let me give this a go. So I sent a message to her, and I literally just said, oh, I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. And instantly, she was like, okay, this is what it's all about. She told me everything, told me what it required, and I just said to myself, the things I have been through over the years actually was really God refining me, and I really would like to share my testimony. And that was how the whole journey started.
Okay, so tell us about what you do.
Yes, I work as a geospatial analyst. So I really produce maps and do all sorts of analysis with data. And I've been on it for about 25 years now. Right now, I work in the civil service, but I've had several years in the private sector as well before I started working in the civil service. Now, because I have a family, I have a child now, I thought, let me just step back a bit. And, so I literally now decide that I thought, I wanted a place where I could manage home work and home life better, and that was in the civil service. So that's where I'm working now.
Okay. So give us a little bit of snippet about your chapter.
So my title is called Refine to Shine, and I want to share my testimony with my health challenges. I have been living with multiple sclerosis for about 13 years now, and I had a period where things were really bad. I had a season where I couldn't walk. I've had seasons where my arm wasn't working well, or I lose feelings in parts of my body, or when I actually had and I couldn't see in one eye for quite a long time. And over the years, through all the challenge, God brought me through. He literally, I knew that He was refining me. There were some things that were in me that the Lord had to take out. And it was difficult. At that time, I did not know what was happening. I was a bit confused at when I got the diagnosis. I couldn't believe it that, why would God allow this kind of thing to happen to me? Especially because I just had a son, my son was just going to turn 1 when the whole thing went, when everything started going wrong. But I can honestly say that God works all things out for our good. When I look back now, I mean, it's really been an amazing journey with the Lord. I know that God carried me through all those dark periods. So I want to encourage people now that, you know what, even if your physical body is failing you, even if you have a diagnosis that is very scary, that God doesn't leave us. He still loves us in spite of all the physical things going on wrong in our bodies, and He wants to carry us through the journey. So that's why I really involved myself in this project. I thought to myself, you know what, let me share my experience and actually talk about how God brought me through. That now, now if you really, I mean, now I'm on the disease modifying meds, and they've helped me tremendously. So I just really want to share my experience and how God has brought me through all these years.
Yes, and that's a testimonial because I'm sure there was a lot of emotions involved as well as physical things that happen. And
Yes.
when we're in it, we can't really see anything but what we are in. It's not normally until after the fact, once we go through it, is when we can reflect back and really see how God held our hand all the way through it. So we've got some
Yes.
shout outs here, quite a few. Let's see, Catrice is piling me up here. So I'm going to share, yes, God carries us through all of the dark periods. We got Christina Johnson. Yes, won't God do it? All righty now. So, yes, we definitely can't wait to read your testimonial because we know it's going to be definitely powerful. And we are looking forward to what God is continuing it to do in your life and being able to follow you throughout the rest of your journey. So, thank you so much for sharing. And we truly appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Testimonials is definitely God at work because, like as I mentioned, when like you say, when you're in the fog, it's foggy for sure. So, who do we have next up?
Next, we have Anjanette Watts, who is an author, speaker, cleric, and a licensed coiffeuse, displaying a natural propensity for enhancing culture and community through the power of faith. She has thrived in her business as a salon owner, as a nurse, and co-pastor of her church. Her mantra, God is at the center of her success. Anjanette Watts, leader, energizer, servant. Welcome, Anjanette.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you this day? You're looking beautiful. I love your hair.
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on. How are you doing? How are both of y'all doing?
Doing
Doing very
pretty
well,
good.
thank
Doing
you.
pretty good, especially since we're here. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, I am a co-salon owner. My husband, we both own the salon. He's a barber. I'm a hairstylist, and also, and we also own a boutique. And then we're also pastors of the newly established Relentless Church here in Columbia, Mississippi. By the way, of virtual at the moment.
Okay. So tell us about your why for doing the book.
I believe my why for doing the book is just simply was my yes to God. This year, I think so often we give our yes to God, but that yes needs to be updated, every so often. And so this year I decided to, if that I'm going to see what the end is going to be with God, I need to surrender more to Him, fully to Him. And so I gave Him my yes on telling a piece of something that was somewhat buried put behind in my past, so I thought, but he said he needed to put it on display so that it could help restore other marriages. And so I said, well, God, I really don't want to, but if you insist, I will. That's just the God honest truth.
I know. I've been like that as well. We've had those conversations as well. I'm like, Lord, you sure? Me?
Yeah.
And then immediately going back and forth with God. I can't do that.
Yeah,
Why you? So I know what you're talking about. So a snippet from your chapter, just a little bit to give us a
pretty much my story is one of the Christ. The name of my chapter is the Christ-like husband, and it's really one of a story of redemption, forgiveness, restoration, grace, and mercy. How my loving husband, my amazing husband, restored me like Christ after me coming to him, telling him that I had an affair on him, and how his love covered me in that moment, and pretty much up until this time, just like Christ, the way he handled me, the way that he allowed Christ to shine through him was just truly amazing. And I knew that God, you have to be real in order for this man to be able to, even in the midst of his pain, and even in the midst of his confusion, he decided to still show me Christ-like love in such an awful situation.
Wow. And that's a blessing in itself, because
Yes.
we all know how men are when women cheat.
Yes, because they have so much pressure on them. Men have so much pressure on them, by other guys, by other people, especially when it comes to their wife. And so I think, he didn't put me on blast. As a matter of fact, the further as it went was between him and I. And so he covered me, because it wasn't like the world, it wasn't like people knew. It was just me being honest. After a conversation with God telling me today to tell my husband, that particular day was the day that I was going to stop the affair and tell my husband what I've been doing. And I did that. And so he didn't talk about me amongst his friends. He didn't share with his mom. He didn't share with nobody what I did. And just his humility, just his strength in the midst of that 12 years later just has been outstanding. And how at this point, he, had to come in agreement with God that, if it could help someone else, let's tell our story.
Yes, and I can't wait to read your chapter, because that's a difficult one. And, you have an amazing husband. I want to tell you that. You have an amazing husband, because most men would definitely not carry it that way, for sure.
No, that's why I know God is real. And I knew that he loved God. And I really, through that, I really knew that he loved God, because most of the time when one of the spouses go outside the relationship, there's a price to pay, mistreatment, just an ugly attitude. And although I waited for that to happen, it never happened. And that I was like, it's almost like when you come to the realization how God must feel when we hurt him, but how he still loves us in spite of our shortcomings. And so that's why I don't take for granted his grace that he extended to me. And I just love him so much for extending that grace to me, just as like Christ, like I love Christ.
Absolutely. What a testimonial, because God will definitely fix anything. And
yes, he can.
I mean, I ask God for like little stuff, Lord, I can't find my glasses. Can you tell me where I put them, please? And somehow I end up walking to them, So I
Yes.
know, even down to the smallest things, he is there for all of us. So we can't wait to read your chapter, and Jeanette, and I am just so honored to meet you because your story is definitely not many that husband and wife situation can talk about in
That's
a
right.
positive manner. So
That's
that is
right.
a blessing in itself.
That's
So
right.
yes, so thank you so much for sharing, and
Thank
we
you.
look forward to definitely collaborating with you more. So thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV. Through Just Minding My Business, dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmmb.assistacircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.